Hi guys, welcome back to this video tutorial on a JSF and JDBC project example. In the previous videos we saw how to configure an Eclipse JSF project and how to create a JSF view which lists the employees retrieved into a database using a JDBC API. In this video we will see how to add a new employee using a JSF user interface and how to save it into the database using a JDBC insert query. First of all, we have to add a new button to this JSF view to open a new view where to enter the values of the property or of the properties of the new employee. So we can copy and paste the code, the tag of this button. Okay, here after the data table tag, the age column command button tag is the JSF evolution of the input of type submit of HTML. In this tag we are using the so-called JSF navigation, in particular the implicit JSF navigation. Navigation is the mechanism that JSF offers to jump from the current JSF view to another view. In particular, the implicit navigation wants to set to the action parameter of the command button or other tags which have the action parameter only the name of the new view to which we want to jump. The name without the extension XHTML. This is the relative path of this new JSF view respect to the current the path of the current view. So now we have to create a new JSF page whose name is add employee.xhtml. So let's create this new view using a copy of the employees view. Add employee contents and add employee. Now inside add employee we have to update the name. Okay, so this is the included file. Okay, now let's copy and paste the base code of this new view. Here we have a new tag, age column panel grid, which allows to dispose the elements inside it into rows and columns. In this case we have two columns. So the first and second element will be placed on the first row, third and fourth on the second row, and so on. Inside the panel grid there is an age column input text tag for each property of the employee object. This tag is the evolution of the input of type text of HTML. each input text is mapped with a property of the employee object. So when the user enters some data into one of these input texts, its value will be stored in the property of the employee object. Now let's create the backing bin of this view. So we can copy the name. So it's a managed bin, of course. In this case, we will use the view scoped. Okay, now we can declare an object employee of class employee. That one that the view is calling. We have to add the getter and setter, public getter and setter, so that the JSF can see this object. Now we can start our application and open this new view. So employees, it's better if we stop the server and restart it. Employees, run on server. Now there is this new button in the employees list view. So add employee. There's something wrong. Of course, we have to add the form tag, because we now have a button and to submit the form. So let's start again. Okay, add employee. Okay, this is the new view where we can input the new employee, and we used the JSF implicit navigation to open it. Okay, now let's go on by adding a new button, the Save button, to store the new employee into the database. So, again, the command button tag. In this case, we are using again the JSF navigation with the action parameter, but the name of the view to which we want to come back is returned by this method, the method save employee. So that because we want to call the method to save the new employee into the database before coming back to the to the employee list JSF view. We don't forget this time to add the form tag. Okay, now we have to create this method in the backing bin. It's a public method, of course. And it have to return a string that is the name of the view where we want to come back, that is the employee list. So return employees. Here we have to add the code to save the employee into the database. And to do it, we need to create the new method to insert into the database an employee object using a JDBC. So we have to add it into this class. And let's copy and paste the code of this new method. Insert employee. This method is similar to the create employee table and file all employees methods that we saw in the previous videos. And again, we are using the connection parameter here declared. So first thing we are registering the JDBC driver. Then this is the creation of the connection object using this parameter of the connection. Here we have the SQL query string to insert an object into the database that we will execute using JDBC. In this case, this SQL string is slightly different from the previous SQL string that we saw in the other two methods, because we are using a prepared statement to execute it. In this case, the SQL string doesn't contain any value, but only parameter in the order. This character, each one, corresponds to the name of the fields in the same order. So the first is first name, the second is last name, and so on. Then we create a prepared statement object, passing to it SQL string. With this second parameter, we are asking to the JDBC driver to return back to the statement object the key that will be assigned automatically by the database to the new row. So we use the set string or set double, it depends on the data type, to set each parameter that we are expecting here. So the first, number 1, corresponds to the first name. In fact, we assign it to the employee properties get name, where employee is the parameter that we give to the method, and so on for the other parameters of the SQL query string. Here we are executing the SQL statement using the execute update method of the prepared statement, and here we are using execute update because with insert we are changing the value in the database. The integer returned by this method is the number of rows affected by this statement. So if the number is 0, there is a problem, because the new row will be not inserted into the database. Okay, now with this block of code, we are getting the key assigned to the row by the database with the generated key get generated keys a method applied to the prepared statement, as we asked here with this second parameter. And then we get the number that is a long with the get long applied to generated keys object. Finally, we close the prepared statement and the connection and return to the calling method the key assigned to the new row. Okay, now we can call this method from within the backing bin. Okay, here. So, and we need to do it an employee's BO object. So I write BO. And we pass to it the employee object defined here into the backing bin, where the employee object is that one set to the values that the user inserted into the view. Now we can add a new employee to the list. Let's start the application. Add employee. As we can see, we are again into the employees list view, and the new employee has been added to the list. Okay, now let's come back to the add employee view. We want to add some constraints to the data that the user can enter into the view. For example, suppose that we want the first name and the last name fields to be mandatory. To do it, we have to add the required option to the input text tag. So here, so then we want to fix the message that the view will show to the user if he press the save button without enter any value into this field. So we need another option. Okay, first name cannot be empty, and let's copy and paste the same options to the last name field. Then we have to add a message tag for each of these two fields where to show the required message. So we need the ID value of the input text that has to be mapped with the message tag. The ID value of the input text that is mapped with this message tag, and then only the style. Okay, message will be in a red color. Let's copy and paste for the last name field. We have to add here the ID value of the last name field input text. Okay, let's start again our application. Add employee. Now check, and suppose that we want to save now. As you can see, there is here the required message for the last name, so we can enter the last name and the other fields, or not. We could also say so. Okay, so the new employee is in the database. Now suppose that we want to add another constraint on the employee number string, that is the length of the string value. We have 5 characters, here, here, and here. We have 6 characters. Suppose that we want that the string length is always 5 characters. To do so, we can add a validator to the field in the add employee JSF view. In this case, we have to insert into the H column input text tag of employee number the F column validate length tag of JSF. So here minimum number of characters of the string, and the maximum number that in this case is the same. Okay, sorry. Then we have to add an ID to the input text tag. It can be the same of the field. Okay, and the validator message to show in case of error. Okay, now we can copy this ID value and add an H column message tag for this input text. Okay, let's start again our application. Employees. Add employee. And it's supposed to enter an employee number of 4 characters. Okay, there's the validator message here. Now 6. Okay, 5. Okay. Now we want to add another button here, the cancel button, to come back to the employees list view doing nothing. So here cancel, we can set only the simple name of the view, employees, where we want to come back. Okay, let's restart the server and the application. Okay, as you can see, the validator blocks the action of the cancel button. To avoid it, we have to add another option to the command button. Here it is immediate equal true. In this way, the action of a cancel command button is executed without validation. Let's try again. Add employee, cancel. Okay. Last thing to see is that the salary values have the euro symbol prefix here. To do it, we are using a converter here in the employees contents view file, and it is this one. And we have in the JSF frameworks other kind of converters, for example, to set the format of a date or the number of decimal digit in a real number, and so on. Okay, that's all. In next video we will see how to set the company values, choosing it from a list stored in the database. To do so, we will use the JSF component called select one menu. Thank you for your attention. Bye.